Hello everyone! My name is Philip.
And I'm TJ.
And today we're going to talk about the 2019 remake of the 1989 movie of the Stephen King book, Pet Sematary. Before we get into it, spoiler warning now! If you want to avoid spoilers, skip ahead to the time code you see on the screen. Alright, so let's get into it.
And what did you think?
It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was fine. Like, as a standalone movie, I'd give it a B-. But as a remake, I'd give it a C, C-. Like, we've seen way worse remakes. And if you don't compare it to the original, then it's passable. But while certain parts were definitely better, the original just had an overall feeling about it that I thought resonated stronger than this one did. It's almost like this one was too polished, and the original felt grittier. So, as far as more specific things, I'll save those for what we did and didn't like. But overall, it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And you?
I kind of mirror that, but I'm also kind of opposite to that.
Okay.
As a standalone, I was entertained, but at the end of the day, the movie was just kind of okay.
Mm-hmm.
And as a remake, I think it's a far superior version.
Okay. Kind of reminds me of what I'm calling the It syndrome then.
Mm-hmm.
Where I have a soft spot in my heart for the made-for-TV version of It. And yeah, we differed on that one as well. So it's the It syndrome.
I have a soft spot for good acting.
We'll discuss that too. All right. Gauntlet has been dropped. Okay. All right, sir. Before we get to that part, some things I did like. I thought that Jason Clarke was a marginally better Louis Creed than Dale Midkiff.
Yep.
Mostly because Jason Clarke can actually show a wider range of emotions. And it's cool to see him in a remake that is an absolute dog shit like Winchester.
Mm-hmm.
So thumbs up for him on that one. I think Amy Seimetz, who viewers might recognize from You're Next, and the original actress, Denise Crosby, were pretty on par as Rachel Creed, I thought. I thought they both did a decent job.
Yeah, she was one of the main selling points for me.
Okay, right on.
Because I think she really sold being terrified.
Yeah,
And
and no. We'll delve into that more.
We'll go into yeah. Continue.
The child actors from both movies, the original and the remake, did good. I'd have to give the edge to Miko Hughes from the original, simply because he had more to work with. Mm-hmm. But Gage in this one, I think, shined when he was reacting to Victor Pascal.
Yes.
I thought those were his best moments, like looking terrified, including the alternate ending, which we'll talk about now. Speaking of endings, I thought the ending was stellar.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it coming, and you're kind of thinking, nah, they're not gonna. Oh, shit, they are. And then the screen goes to black, and you hear the car unlock noise.
Mm-hmm.
And Gage is in the car. Was such a nice touch. As said, there is an alternate ending that you told me about, and I finally did watch. And I see people in the comments section saying, oh, the alternate ending was so much better because now we know what happened to Gage. To me, how does that make it better?
Yes.
I think the ending they went with is much more powerful and leaves you with that oh shit feeling like I mentioned.
Yep.
Oh no. Like, it was fantastic. Oh, just a fantastic ending. I loved it.
Because then it's left up to your own imagination.
Exactly. And I guess people don't like to use their imagination, which baffles me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like we've said before, people want things spoon-fed to them. Like, you want like entry-level math versus like calculus. It's just sometimes you need to use your brain. All those Stephen King suggested ending was pretty fucking cool.
What was his?
Oh, especially if you tack on like my little something extra. His ending was that the end shot would be of Gage walking down the highway again, and you're like, oh no, he's gonna get creamed by a truck. But then right before it happens, like a truck's coming, a woman pulls him out of the road and says, where are your mommy and daddy? And then that's how his version ends. I would add on a part where it shows a shot of him pointing down the driveway, and then the woman takes him by the hand and they're walking back towards the house. Then it fades to black because we know what she's walking into.
Yep.
That'd have been fucking cool too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little me and Stephen King working together and he doesn't know it. Make a good team, Mr. King. Another thing I liked is it didn't rely on jump scares.
Yes.
There were at least 6 moments that I counted that I pulled the headphones away from my ears, waiting for the unnecessary violin screech noise. And nope. Other than the 2 times with the semi-truck, It did a
Mm-hmm.
good job of not using that weak way to make the audience jump.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I have for things that I liked. What about you?
For me, it was the ending,
Mm-hmm. So good.
the better acting, the cemetery itself.
I don't agree with that.
Because to me, it was so over the top and so otherworldly. I just really appreciated that. It wasn't just climbing up this little beaver dam, it was like literally entering the underworld.
Mm.
And even with it's one thing walking through the swamp and hearing the monsters screaming in the background, but then you get to that crazy over the top mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, this is like, it very much reminded me of some traditional Stephen King.
Yeah. 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 I'll definitely agree with that.
Over the top, but over the top on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was some of what I definitely appreciated. The little girl,
Mm-hmm.
she did fantastic, especially when she died. Her self-awareness was extremely creepy,
Hmm.
and the her little dancing in the muddy tutu
Mm-hmm.
was extremely creepy, and then the entire thing with her eye.
Yeah, I did like
So
that. Yeah, I did like that.
yeah,
At church
yeah.
had it too.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that was a cool little continuity.
Now on to the things that we didn't like. You go first.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Some things I didn't like, and this is a little longer. Victor Pascal. He was
Mm-hmm.
much better in the original. You could
Mm-hmm.
have omitted him completely from this movie, and nothing about the story fundamentally changes.
Mm-hmm.
But he's such an integral part of the book and the original movie. And here he's barely an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
And also because I'm fucked up, I thought Zombie Pascal in the original was cute. And his makeup was way better. But that's a whole different weird conversation for another time. Moving on. I never thought I would say this, ever. But this is sacrilege. But John Lithgow.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do a bad job. Not at all. The man is an amazing actor. But Fred Gwynne absolutely owned the original movie with the way he portrayed Judd Crandall.
Yes.
Like, Judd Crandall from the book, and I've read the book, is Fred Gwynne to me. And I read the book before I saw the original movie. I was one of those weird kids that read horror books at a young age. I'm on the fence with the fake outs. We had the Gage being hit by the truck fake out, which would have worked if you didn't spoil what happened in the fucking trailers. I went to see Us before the movie, Pet Sematary, the trailer hit, and it showed that Ellie was the fucking one that came back.
Yep.
I'm like, what? You know how I am about trailers.
Mm-hmm.
But then we had the Ellie under the bed fake out at Judd's. I mean, I respect in a way what they were doing, but it also seemed to be kind of, oh, ha, 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 gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And then we disagree on this one, which is totally cool. Biggest one for me, though, is Ellie being the one to come back and not Gage.
Mm-hmm.
On one hand, I get it. You have someone that can react more and vocalize their experience as opposed to a 2-year-old child. But that's why the book and first movie were so effective. There's like this esoteric quality to it. We don't need so much exposition. I don't really need to know that Ellie knows she's dead. Now, granted, the actor, I think, did a passable job playing the dual roles. You liked it more than I did. I thought she was a little corny. There were parts I did like, and I'll get to that later. So there's some lines that I liked that I want to bring up later. But I guess nothing about it felt, dread. It essentially turned into a zombie movie. And with the book and the original, it's so much more powerful, and the toddler being the one hit. The grief is just so much more intense. And that's what this movie was missing to me. It was missing the power of grief. I don't think any of the decisions were earned. Judd showing Lewis the real Pet Sematary because Ellie touched his heart, I never got that. Because they never bothered going deeper into telling the story to get there. Lewis breaking down over the course of events. Like, as shitty as Dale Midkiff's portrayal was in the original, I thought he did a much better job of him breaking. And when he was absolutely broken, you felt it. Now, I'm not saying that Jason Clarke is a bad actor. I said he's not. He was one of the positives. I didn't think things were earned, and that's not the actor's fault. Like, you know those reenactment shows on the History Channel?
Mm-hmm.
That's what this felt like to me, like a reenactment of Pet Sematary, or like a Lifetime Channel horror movie. And at the risk of sounding snarky, there was just no pulse, no depth. That's what it was. There was no depth to anything. It felt like it was just going through the motions. And I said, this isn't the fault of any of the actors. Everyone did what they could with what they were given, but no one had any real character to their characters or anything they could sink their teeth into, well, so to speak. John Lithgow felt lifeless. Fucking John Lithgow. That's how you know you fucked up. And what makes it even more sad is that the directors involved have proven that they can make good horror, with Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmeyer both being behind the camera for Starry Eyes, which was really good. I like that movie a lot. This one was just lifeless. There was just no meat to it. And it was like a very, very saccharine, sanitary remake. And while everyone did their jobs, I don't think anyone did their jobs specifically well. And I think that falls completely in the way it was shot and in the script. So those things I didn't like. What about you?
For me, you touched upon it with Judd. Like, I do appreciate that John Lithgow didn't even try to reenact what the previous Judd was, you know, with the accent and all that. And so I appreciate that. As you stated, no, you just can't replace the original. And then Zelda.
Yeah.
I think Zelda was scarier in the first one.
Agreed.
However, what I did like about Zelda in this one was her death.
Okay.
I really liked that. And just the way that her body just like fell like a puppet with its strings cut.
Right.
But she was over the top in this one.
Yeah.
And unnecessarily over the top. The original Zelda, super creepy. And yeah, and then I'll pretty much agree with most of what you said.
Okay.
But I mean, like, I will definitely agree that it's the reason why this movie to me it was entertaining, but it wasn't good.
Right. Okay. Right.
Because I can't exactly pinpoint anything in particular. It was just, like you said, without a pulse.
Like watchable but not enjoyable?
Or it was watchable and enjoyable on a mediocre level.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, yes, I can watch it again. But will I be as excited to watch it again? No.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it again. Not that it was horrible. I just have it. I could watch something else with that hour and 40 minutes. I mentioned before there were some cool lines or moments I wanted to mention. And they all involve Ellie, actually. I thought her acting was a little hackneyed in parts. For her age and her acting, I give her credit. I'm not expecting, everyone to be like a young Dakota Fanning. But at the same time, some things I wanted to mention. The mom and dad are talking to Ellie. And the mom says, people die and they go to heaven. And the dad says, we don't know that. And I was like, yes. Like, you are awesome, sir. Like, I like that dad. Then dead Ellie is walking down the hall. And Gage is like, elephant. The great and terrible. That was such a good line.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
That was so well delivered by her. Then this isn't so much of a line, but when Ellie is attacking her mom in the attic, Ellie stabs her mom, the mom falls, and Ellie goes, it was such a nice touch. Like, she stabs her mom falls out of the frame, and Ellie just chuckles. One time. It was great. It was great. So those are the things that I wrote down in my notes that I thought were worth mentioning. I did learn something from this movie. Usually we reserve that for our breakdowns reviews, but I had something that I learned. I learned, don't let doctors give you a drink.
Why is that?
What did the doctor give Judd?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't let a doctor give you a drink. You know what the fuck you're going to get. All right, so all things considered, would you recommend it?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if I would. Like, I like the original. It has a special place in my heart. And yeah, I don't think I would. Yeah, so no. You don't need to watch this movie. It's not Winchester bad, but it's not really worth your time either. All right, sir. Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
All right. Well, that wraps up this episode. Thank you for listening. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends or cool people who might dig the Vizcast. Please subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on the newest content, and there is a link in the description below for the Patreon that covers all of the creative endeavors, so please consider showing your support. Until next time, my name is Philip.
And I'm TJ.
And we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.